Hello, my friends. Today, let's do a 35-minute Power Vinyasa Flow. As you can see, I brought a bigger mat to the cottage at the lake so that my dog can lay a little bit better on my mat. So the mat is oversized. Just in case you're trying to relate, I'm not that little. The mat is just very big. But before we get into the Vinyasa flow, I would like you to get 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use pillows. And I first want you to arrive on the mat very relaxed. We also need a strap, a workout band, or bathrobe, belt, something like that. But first, we start in a very relaxing pose. We're gonna have the blocks look like a T shape. If you only have a pillow, you just lay on the pillow, scoot the pillow down to your tailbone, and just lay back. Feet can be extended or in a butterfly pose. You can also scoot some pillows underneath your knees if the spreading of the knees too far is not good for you. We want to just come to the mat, totally relax, totally draw inside, and come to this moment. So arrive, let go. In this practice, I would like to start with an offering prayer that the Little Flower Sanctuaries wrote. Oh my God, I offer thee all my actions of this day for the intentions and for the glory of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. I desire to sanctify every beat of my heart, my very thought, my simplest work, by uniting them to its infinite merits, and a wish to make reparation for my sins by casting them off into the furnace of its merciful love. O my God, I ask thee for myself and for those whom I hold dear, the grace to fulfill perfectly thy holy will, to accept for love of thee the joys and sorrows of this passing life, so that we may one day be united together in heaven for all eternity. Amen. Stay in this pose just a little bit longer. Enjoy the quietness. Then slowly stretch your arms overhead if that's comfortable for you. Stretch yourself out and all about. Stretch to the side your arms, lift up your legs if they were in a butterfly pose, and slowly rise up, getting the blocks out of the way. Get yourself mentally, physically ready for a Power Vinyasa Flow. And first we take our belt, stretchy band, yoga strap, whatever you have, and you can sit either, as I said before, or on your heels. And we're gonna do some shoulder rotations. Forward and inhale, exhale backward. Inhale, lift the arms up, and if they feel really tight, take the arms further apart. The further apart, the easier. Do it in your own pace. Some shoulder rotations, warming up the shoulders, stretching them out, loosening up tensions. And stretch to one side. Make sure your hip stays in the middle. And then to the other side, really stretching yourself out, waking the body up, preparing for movement. Come to the middle and then make big, big circles behind and to the front. Make sure that the belt or whatever you have, the yoga strap, always stays extended, so the strap is not loosened in the middle. It's always on a tight space. So make the rotations really big, extending them up and to the side, and then stay on one side, side stretch. And then let's do those circles into the other direction. You see that I'm always keeping the strap extended, full extended, and then make the circles big and even bigger. Combine it with your breath. And one more big circle, and then come to the side body stretch one more time. Come to the middle and one more time. Shoulder rotations, back and forth and back and forth, and it should feel a lot looser and a lot better. So we're done with that, so put the strap away, and then let's come forward on hands and knees and do some cat cows. So I'm doing a cow here and a wiggle back and forth, and then really draw on your belly for the cat and wiggle a little bit back and forth if that feels good to you, just loosening up. Cat, wiggling a little bit back and forth, and then cow, cat, and then cow again. Inhale and exhale, really drawing in the belly button, really rounding your back. And again, the cow. Breathing deeply while you do it, and then extend again into cat. And then let's come into our first downward facing dog. You can stay stationary, you can bend your knees quite a bit, or just bending one knee and then the other, loosening up the head, making sure you're just moving so it feels really good. You can get a good extensions in your back, and then stay a little bit stationary, maybe coming on your toes. Really finding lots of length in the back of your legs as much as in your back. And then stay stationary and pick up the right foot extended into the air without opening up the hip. And then open up the hip. The knee points towards the sky, and then start circling, opening up that hip. Nice rotations, and then go into the other direction and place that foot down and extend the other leg up into the sky, and then you can open up the hip and the knee is pointing up to the sky, and then we do big rotations in one direction, just helping your hip mobility, and then into the other direction. And then placing the foot down. Look forward and come into a plank pose. Nice plank. You can shift your weight a little bit back and forth. Hold the plank. And then placing your knees down for the first time, your chest is on the ground, elbows pointing back, and then draw yourself into a nice cobra pose. We want to start slowly here. Keep the cobra pose. Maybe lift your hands up so you're using your back muscles, not only your hands. And then come back into a child's pose with extended arms. Come even onto the fingertips, finding lots of length, and then come back into a downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up and then draw the right leg forward into a runner's lunge. Keep your back as straight as possible, maybe swaying back and forth, opening up the psoas muscle, and then placing your knee down and come into half Hanumanasana, half splits pose, keeping your back straight, draw on your belly. If you can, come back into a runner's lunge with a knee down, then rise up with the upper body and lift up your arms up to the sky. If you can, look up, draw on your belly, and then placing your hands on the floor again, come through plank pose, knees, chest, chin down on the floor, coming back into another cobra pose. Elbows are really pointing backward, and lift your arms up so you're really using your back muscles. And then come back into a child's pose, come onto the fingertips, and into a downward facing dog, loosening up your neck. And we repeat on the other side. So lift up your left leg and then step forward, runner's lunge on the left side. Shift your weight maybe a little bit back and forth, keeping your back straight, your belly drawn in. Placing down your knee and come into half splits pose, half Hanumanasana. Looking forward, drawing in your belly. And then come forward, placing your knee down and lifting up your arms here. Look up if you can. And then placing your hands down again, come into a plank pose. Knees, chest, chin. Come into the cobra pose. And then shift your weight back, child's pose with extended arms, fingertips. And then come into a downward facing dog. Draw on the belly, finding lots of length in the back. Look forward, shift your weight forward all the way to the hands. Stay on your toes though. Again, shift back into downward facing dog. Then again, shift your weight forward, placing all the weight into the hands and then back. Again, forward, lots of strength in the arms, and then step with both legs forward. Extend your back and then forward fold. Grab opposite elbows and hang here. Draw on your belly, finding lots of space and room. And then lift up, arms all the way extended to the sky and hands to your side, Tadasana. Again, lift up your arms on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, preparation pose, straight back. And then placing your hands down, come through plank and chaturanga or knees, chest, chin again, and come into upward facing dog or cobra, into a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up into the sky and then step forward into warrior one. Lift up your arms, placing your hands down. Plank, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, your choice, upward facing dog or cobra, into a downward facing dog. Step the left leg forward, warrior one, and then come down, plank, chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, whatever you want, upward facing dog or cobra, and into a downward facing dog. Draw on your belly, finding lots of space and room, lots of length in your back. And then shift your weight all the way forward onto the hands and step forward. Preparation pose. Forward fold. Arms up towards the sky. And Tadasana. And Utkatasana, chair pose. Lift up your arms to the sky and forward folding all the way. Preparation pose. And come back into plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Pick up that pace here. Warrior one on the right side. And hands down on the floor. Your choice, chaturanga, your vinyasa, upward facing dog into a downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward, warrior one, and placing the hands down again. Move through your vinyasa. And we meet in a downward facing dog. Find your breath. Calm down your breath. Look forward, shift the weight all the way forward into the arms and then step forward. Straight back and then forward folds. Utkatasana, deep Utkatasana, hands to the sky and then Tadasana. Again, Utkatasana, look up and forward fold. Extend your back and step back through your Vinyasa flow. We meet in a downward facing dog. Step the right leg forward, warrior one, and warrior two. Look over the right extended arm. And then move your weight forward, palms facing up and into a peaceful warrior. Nice open side bend. Come back into warrior two. And then cartwheel your hands down. Move you through your vinyasa flow. And we meet in a downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward, warrior one, to warrior two. Stay in the warrior two and extend your weight forward. Palm is facing up and then back. Peaceful warrior. Warrior two again. Cartwheel your hands and then come through your vinyasa. And again we meet in a downward facing dog. Calm your breath. Draw on your belly. Finding lots of length in your back. Look forward, shift your weight all the way into your arms and then step forward. Straight back. Forward fold, Utkatasana, arms up, and then come into Tadasana. Again, Utkatasana. And into a forward fold. Preparation pose. Step back, plank, move through your vinyasa, and we meet in a downward facing dog. Right leg moves forward, warrior one, warrior two, and peaceful warrior side bend. Warrior two, and then step back through vinyasa, and we meet in a downward facing dog. Step the left leg forward, warrior one, into warrior two, peaceful warrior side bend, warrior two, and move through your vinyasa. And we meet again in a downward facing dog. Breathe. Calm down your breath. Shift your weight all the way into your hands. Step forward, straight back, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana and Tadasana. Let's do it again. Utkatasana. Forward fold. Preparation pose and step back. Go through your vinyasa, an upward facing dog and a downward facing dog. Step the right leg forward, warrior one, warrior two, peaceful warrior, warrior two, cartwheel your hands down, move through your chaturanga, and we meet in a downward facing dog. Left leg forward, warrior one, warrior two, peaceful warrior, warrior two, cartwheel your hands down, move through your vinyasa, and again we meet in a downward facing dog. Breathe. Yes, this is vigorous. Calm down your breathing here. Find rest. Shift your weight all the way into your arms. Step forward, straight back, forward fold, Utkatasana and Tadasana. Let's do it again. Utkatasana, forward fold, preparation pose, move through your vinyasa, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right leg comes forward, warrior one, warrior two, stay, and then peaceful warrior. Warrior two again, and come into warrior three. Extend your leg back, find your balance, and it's okay to fall out, and then draw the left leg up, come into tree pose from warrior three if you can. Hands maybe up to the sky, maybe to the side. Hands in front of your heart again. Move through warrior three. And step back into warrior two. Good job. Move through in vinyasa, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Left leg forward. Warrior one, warrior two, peaceful warrior, warrior two, and from here step into warrior three, trying to find your balance. And then come right away, if you can, into a tree pose. Hands extended maybe upward, or keep them just in front of your heart. If you had them up, have them in front of your heart, and then move back into warrior three. And as controlled as you can, step back into warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down. Move through chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Shift your weight forward into the hands. Step forward, preparation pose. Come through Utkatasana, back into Tadasana. Again, Utkatasana, forward fold. Preparation pose, forward fold. Opposite elbows, grab those and hang here. Calm down your breathing. This was hard work. Good job. And then placing your hands down, preparation pose again. Again, a forward fold, and then step back, plank, move through vinyasa. and come into a cobra pose this time. Elbows are really pointing backward, and then you can interlace your fingers behind your back, lift up your back legs, but lift them rather to lift as high, rather think about extending them back all the way, as hard as much as you can. And then placing your forehead down again, maybe grabbing your ankles, and let's come into a bow pose. Your hands wants to move forward and your legs backward, so you're really strengthening your bow. Then come out of the pose, draw yourself up through plank into a downward facing dog. The right leg extends upwards towards the sky and then steps forward into a high lunge. Arms up, and maybe you shift your weight to the side body stretch in the high lunge. Extend your arms up again and slowly draw your knee down without the hands and then lift up. And then maybe you come into a little back bend here. And then come forward through plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Now extend your left leg up. Step it all the way through, high lunge, arms extended towards the sky. Stay here, or the side body stretch we're going to do later, I think. And then come with your knee down and come into half moon pose, so really a back bend. Placing your hands onto the floor. Shift through your vinyasa, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Breathe, and then step or hop forward into a seated position, into Savasana pose. Extend your arms up, your back as straight as you can. Feet can be 90-degree angle. Or extend it all the way up and really draw on your belly button. Really use your core here, your abs. Lots of fire, lots of strength. Maybe bending your knees again or placing just the toes down on the floor. And then extend your legs all the way up and slowly rise up all the way. Lift up your arms and forward fold. Now I come in a forward fold where I'm just gonna grab around my toes to the front and keep my back as straight as I can and just help my toes to point backward a little bit more. And then I come into the more traditional Paschimottanasana forward fold with the hands on the side of the feet. Draw on your belly, making room, breathing, and then lift up again, lift up your arms towards the sky, and then slowly use your core to lay down very slowly. And then come into side body stretch. Your side body stretch of your choice. I like to have just one leg over the other. You can have both knees stacked on top of each other in a 90 degrees angle to the side. Just remember to let everything go here. In this pose, you let go. And then shift your hip a little bit over to the other side. Come into a laying side body twist on the other side. Release and let everything go. come to the middle again. And I'm going to shift my knees from side to side and really making sure my hip is a little bit shifting upwards. So I'm really getting this loosening up of my back. And then come into our Savasana. And in this Savasana, I would like to quote Therese of Lisieux again, as we did before, but in a quote to think about. She wrote, "I understood that every flower created by him, by God, is beautiful. That the brilliance of the rose and the whiteness of the lily do not lessen the perfume of the violet or the sweet simplicity of the daisy. I understood that if all the lowly flowers wishes to be roses, nature would no longer be enameled with lovely hues. And so it is in the world of souls, our Lord's living garden." Now slowly extend your arms up, stretch yourself out, and draw your knees into your chest. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side here. And then come up. Come into a nice seated position, and we do the upper body rolls with the chest, really rounding your back, and then making the circles really, really big. Make sure to round and straighten your back here. Use your breath, loosening up any kind of tension that may linger. And then switch the leg side and the rotation side. So circle to the other side. First just with your upper body, and then use the lower body as well. Just include everything. Keep your hips on the floor though. And then after the last one, come into a lateral stretch on one side. Keep your shoulder open, both hip bones on the floor, and look down. Then placing your hand down, which increases the stretch of the head. And then come into the lateral stretch on the other side. Look down. And place your hand down. Come into the middle, and let's take a few breaths. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Again, deep inhale, deep exhale. And for our last time, and I really hope you enjoyed this class. I hope you put your thumbs up and you subscribe to my channel, and maybe like or comment if you enjoyed this practice. God bless you. And I hope to see you next week again for another practice.